Hello, I'm out here in my backyard with my dogs, and the location is actually important. It is part of my success story today. It's part of my win for the day, being in the backyard. I have been feeling very overwhelmed, like extremely overwhelmed, to the point where I shut down and I wasn't getting things done that needed to be done, things that had a timeline, things that really needed to be done for my business. And I got some coaching yesterday on that, and the question was, are you overwhelmed? Well, before my coaching, I would have said, I'm not overwhelmed. Why would I be overwhelmed? None of this is life or death. Nobody's gonna die. And I got to thinking, you know, as cops or medics, doctors, pilots, military people, you know, that's a pretty important judgment right there, right? I mean, that's pretty important. But in day-to-day life, in my life right now as a retiree, is nobody died. Is that really a good judgment level? Is that really a good measuring level of what's important and what isn't important? Things are different now. I don't need to be in survival mode all the time. I need to acknowledge that I'm a little overwhelmed. I need to acknowledge that something needs to change. And it was very freeing for me to acknowledge that. And it's really funny because I would coach you through that, and I would hope that you would find that. But for me to do it myself was a little bit difficult. And that's just how we're wired. That's just how we're wired. So what I did is I looked up the definition of overwhelm, and it is bury or drowned, pretty negative, kind of goes along with mine, did anybody die? A strong emotional effect and receiving too much. And yesterday, I was obviously overwhelmed. I felt buried, and I felt a very negative emotional effect. And I felt, you know, I just felt my body wasn't working right. My mind wasn't working right. I was disappointed. I was getting cranky. I was getting fussy. And that's never a good position to be in when you're trying to get something done. And I realized I was just receiving too much. But again, I have to acknowledge that I was doing that to myself. So what I did is I got a piece of paper out and a pen, and I just started writing down everything that was in my mind. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What do I need to get done? What's on my to-do list? What is my should list? What is on my want list? What is on my must list? Everything, just put it down, put it down, put it down, put it down. No judgment. No, nothing, just empty my brain, write everything down. And then I looked at it and I was trying to figure out what is the most important? What is causing me the trouble right now? And I'll be honest, my workout routines, my nutrition, my meditation, those weren't causing me trouble. My volunteer work wasn't causing me trouble. My couple hours a week at the plant shop, those weren't causing me trouble. It was business related stuff. It was business. And when I looked at everything I had written down, I was like, who on earth could get all of that done? Tell me one person who can get all of that done. So why am I demanding it of myself? If I was coaching you, you know, I would just gently help you see that you're expecting too much. You're asking too much. It's too much. So what I did is I picked out what needed to be done. And then I'm a scheduler. I like my calendar. I believe that I do better when I'm on a schedule, and I use the pen and the pencil thing. So the left side is in pen. These are the things that have to be done at a certain time because, like, you know, a doctor's appointment or my volunteer hours, whatever, my work hours, you know, what needs to be done at a certain time. And then on the right side in pencil is all the things I could kind of fit in on there, things I could just kind of fit in and out of my day and stuff like that. So that's what I did. I did the absolute must-dos, I did the really want-to-dos, and then I had some other stuff there that was still important, but it wasn't, you know, let's just put it this way. There wasn't really any reason to be overwhelmed. And I recognize that the biggest thing on me right now is my website, because my website scares me to death. And I currently have a website. I don't like it. I don't think it represents me. So I've hired a company to do a website for me, and my responsibility is the content, the pictures, the blogs, all of that. And as soon as I was so gung-ho, I was so excited to do it. I paid the crazy amount of money to have it done. And then all of a sudden it's like something just broke in me. It just clicked. I just stopped. I came to an absolute stop. And my appointment was supposed to be today. So yesterday, while I was being coached about my overwhelm, I thought, I can't get it done. I just can't get it done. When I wrote it down on a piece of paper and I went to put it in my calendar, I thought, just reschedule the appointment. Just reschedule it. And so when I reached out to my handler, the very first thing she said is, let's reschedule the appointment. We don't have to do this. This is your timeline. This is your website. And I was just like, of course it is mine. Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I being so unkind to myself and creating this massive overwhelm, this anxiety? And here's a funny thing. So many of the things I do in my life are to reduce stress because, you know, I've had cancer and all these other things. And I do believe that stress does lead to health issues. So I meditate and I exercise and I go out and I get sunlight in the morning and I use my supplements and I use my oils. I do all these things to try to reduce the stress, reduce the anxiety, to reduce the harm on my body. But then I turn around and I just pile it right back on. I know I'm not alone in this. I know a lot of you do the same thing. I know that a lot of you don't really have a lot of control to pick and choose what you have to deal with or your timelines on it. So what I beg of you is to find the stuff that you do have control over. Find the stuff that you can manage. Find the stuff that you do have the control, the ability, the time, whatever it is that you have. Find that and then address those to works the best for you. Obviously, things come up in life that we don't have any control over. So if you can control what you can control, reduce that anxiety, reduce that overwhelm, and then save that energy to deal with the stuff that you don't have any control over. So just a recap of what, oh, and why am I in the backyard? Because I took a break today. I took care of some stuff that had to be taken care of, and then I came out and just started kind of fiddling with my plants. I cleaned up my house plants, I repotted some violets, and then I just came in the backyard with the dogs and I'm just kind of enjoying it. That was my break today. That was my mental and my physical break. And it was a very healthy break. I'm out in the fresh air. I have my sunscreen on, but I am under some shade trees. I'm out in the fresh air. My dogs are getting some exercise and I'm doing things that I really enjoy. Okay, is my website done? No, my website's not done. The appointment was moved. I have scheduled a little bit of time every day to get my pictures together, to get my content together, to get my blogs together, to get my statements together. I've scheduled a little bit every day and it feels good. It absolutely feels good. And I completely recognize, you probably see my dog in the background. That's my little poodle. Oh, and let me tell you something else. When I get really overwhelmed, she just looks at me with these big, sad eyes. And it's almost like, it's not scared of me, but it's almost like she's like, Mom, what's wrong? And that's sad to me. That's sad that my mood can affect my animals, and it makes the point that my mood affects the mood of my household. So if I had children in the house, it would be affecting them. I know it affects my husband. He gets very frustrated with me when I get overwhelmed because he knows that often what I'm overwhelmed with, it's not that it doesn't matter, but it just means I'm not scheduling it correctly. It means I'm giving too much importance to things that don't really need the importance at that time. So here's the recap. Acknowledge when you feel overwhelmed. Don't feel bad about it. Don't make excuses. Don't do like I do, like, well, that's really no big reason to be overwhelmed. Nobody died. That's not the yardstick in my life right now. Get everything out of your head, write it down. Don't just think about it, actually write it down. Make a schedule that works for you. Different people do scheduling differently. Make a schedule that works for you. And don't let people make fun of you for being a scheduler. Don't make people, call you a control freak or whatever. Just because you want to control what you can control and let go of what you can't doesn't make you a control freak. It means that you know how you're wired. So write it all down, get your schedule going, and then give yourself a break. Give yourself a break and celebrate the win. And know that when you go back to what you need to do, you will be going back energized. You'll be going back committed. You'll be going back with a sense of excitement and curiosity, and not like you're just getting beat down and you have to do it. So, overwhelm doesn't do you any good. Doesn't do you any good. We think that since we're bold and brave and that we're high adrenaline and we're high performance, we think that that means that we always have to react under those circumstances. Don't create, ooh, I sound bossy. I don't suggest that you create that high adrenaline situation and just routine parts of your life. Don't do it to yourself. Don't procrastinate or back yourself up to a wall where everything has to be done in a panic. It doesn't have to be done in survival mode. It's taken me years to learn it, and obviously I still have to work on it in myself. We are wired how we're wired, and we need to figure out the best way to live our lives, still being authentic, still being ourselves, still keeping our edge, but increasing our resiliency. So, thanks so much, y'all. Bye-bye.